Welcome to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. For the next hour, you'll hear proven methods for how to live the multiple income streams dream. Ryan is passionate about helping others discover their gifts and start their own business. He's published 5 books, and his courses and group coaching programs have changed the lives of thousands of students all over the world. Ryan's books include Private Label, The Easy Way, Finding Your Grace Place, and his latest, Streams of Income. And now, here's your host, Ryan Rieger.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Streams of Income radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Rieger, and today we want to talk about streams of income. Yes, that's the title of my podcast, and I want to talk about it. I get questions a lot of times about how to create multiple streams of income. What does that look like? How do you do that practically in your business? In fact, I'm giving a presentation today to a mastermind group of folks that want to hear about how they can turn their businesses into multiple streams of income. So we're going to talk about that. I know I've talked about it before, but I got some fresh things to share with you about it. And you know what? I actually believe that multiple streams of income is God's idea. So let me show you in the Word where I believe that God is endorsing us having multiple streams of income. First, in the book of Genesis, this is way back in the Garden of Eden, where scholars believe the Garden of Eden is 4 rivers that converge right into it. And in Genesis 2, verse 10 through 14, it says, "And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads. The name of the first is Pison, the name of the second river is Gihon, the name of the third river is Hiddekel, and the fourth river is Euphrates." And so right in the middle where the Garden of Eden it's tucked in with 4 rivers coming into it. And one of my absolute favorite verses is Psalm 1:3, which says in the Amplified, I love the Amplified Classic version because it just totally brings it out for me. It's also actually start with verse 1. "Blessed is the man who walks and lives not in the counsel of the ungodly, following their advice, their plans and purposes, nor stands submissive and inactive in the path where sinners walk, nor sits down to relax and rest where the scornful and the mockers gather. But his delight and desire are in the law of the Lord, and on his law, the precepts, the instructions, the teachings of God, he habitually meditates, ponders, and studies by day and by night." In God's law, of course, they were in that scripture, they would be talking about the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, which is what they would have had then. But now we have the whole Bible. We have all 66 books. He habitually ponders and studies, meditates, ponders, and studies by day and by night. And what that means, you're just thinking about it. You know, I've heard preachers say that meditation on the word is like, sounds a little bit gross to say this, but like a cow chewing on its cud, where they will eat some grass, they'll digest it, they'll bring it back up from their stomach, they'll chew on it some more. And so it's just like thinking throughout the day. So like maybe in the morning you have your quiet time and there's a scripture that you just want to kind of be thinking about through the day. So just remember it. Maybe write it down. Maybe you take a picture of it on your phone. And as you're going through your day, you're just thinking about that verse. You're quoting it. And, you know, fresh revelation can come from that. But it just gets it into your mind and gets it into your heart. You know, the word is seed. It's a seed for your heart. So your heart is good soil. You want your heart to be good soil. Put that word in you, and it will become what it says it is. Okay. In verse 3, "And he shall be like a tree, firmly planted and tended by the streams of water, plural, ready bring forth its fruit in its season. Its leaf also shall not fade or wither, and everything he does shall prosper and come to maturity." There are many verses in the Bible that liken us to trees. There's a verse in Isaiah that calls us oaks of righteousness. Another verse that I love about the tree, and it just talks about us being trees. In Jeremiah 17, let's start with verse 7. "Most blessed," and this sounds a lot like the Psalms 1:3 scripture. "Most blessed is a man who believes in, trusts in, and relies on the Lord." Guys, there's a lot there. Believe in, trust in, rely on. Believe in, trust in, rely on. Man, got to do that. I do that every day. Guys, you might think that, man, I've been doing business for, since 2008. And so I don't need help anymore. I've got it all figured out. Oh my goodness, no. As I find out as I go higher and higher in different levels, I need Lord more and more. Need his wisdom. There's so many opportunities that come my way. I see opportunity everywhere. I need his wisdom on the ones to say no to. I say no to a lot of good ideas. And as entrepreneurs, ideas are really never the problem. If you're listening to me and you're an entrepreneur, you have ideas all the time. And just don't be tempted to just go after every single one. You need the Lord's wisdom to discern which ones to go after and which ones to say no to. And whose hope and confidence the Lord is. So, verse 8, for he shall be like a tree planted by the waters that spreads out its roots by the river, and it shall not see and fear when heat comes, but its leaf shall be green. It shall not be anxious and full of care in the year of drought, nor shall it cease yielding fruit. Guys, my business got started in 2008. Those of you that were, old enough to remember, I guess it really hasn't been that long ago, but if you were working then, 2008 was a terrible financial year. But for us, it was an amazing year. And I remember thinking about this verse and quoting this. I remember being at the furniture warehouse where I was picking up furniture and quoting this verse. And I would be meditating on it. So I would read it. I'd read that in the morning and I memorized the scripture. And so I was, kind of just bringing it back up and kind of declaring it, saying, Lord, I trust you. I believe that I am blessed because I rely on you. My hope is in you. My confidence in you. Therefore, I'm going to be like a tree. I am that tree that's planted by the waters, that spreads out its roots by the rivers. It shall not see that. I'm not going to see in fear when heat comes. I don't have fear. Doesn't mean fear doesn't try to come on me, guys. I mean, as an entrepreneur, my goodness, there's always opportunities to be fearful. You look out in the world and you could be fearful if you just let that happen. But reject that. It shall not be anxious and full of care. There's a lot to be full of care of in a business, a lot to think about, a lot to be worried about if you want to be, but don't. In the year of drought, nor shall it cease yielding fruit. So even in a year of drought, you're going to yield fruit. That's the kind of thing I want to do. I don't really want to care about the finance. I mean, right now we're dealing with record inflation, I guess, right? And I don't care about it. I don't care. I mean, it doesn't faze me. I know who my source is. God is my source. He's taken care of me through much, much worse times. He's going to do it again. And so I'm not worried about what the world says we're going through. I see it. I know it's there. I see the facts, but right here, this word right here is is the final authority in my life and in my business. And so I encourage you to, get out of the news. Not that you can't look at the news, but look at it quickly, but then put your eyes here in the word. Know that you are that tree that is planted by streams of water. Whatever you do prospers. Everything you put your hand to prospers. And so hope that encourages you. But I want to talk to you practically too. And then talk about the levels of multiple streams, because there are levels. And so I get a lot of questions about how does one actually create multiple streams of income? How do you do that? Well, I think most of you listening, you probably, at least in your life, you hopefully have one stream of income. It could be a job. Maybe it's your business. Maybe you've quit your job to start a business. Awesome. You've replaced one stream for another stream, but you got a little more freedom in the next stream. You can typically do what you want when you want to do it. That's awesome. But a lot of times you just kind of bought yourself a new job. You're the boss. And that's great because you're only responsible to yourself. But you want to go higher. You want to go to higher levels of multiple streams of income. You want to go to a level to where, the streams that are coming in aren't really occupying brain space for you, definitely not occupying your time. And so where I'm going is another level to where it's passive income that, I don't even really have to think about it. It just comes in no matter what. It's not even, anything I'm putting my time to. That's the level I want to be at, and I'm working on it. But let me talk to you practically about what multiple streams of income can look like. So if you have a job, that's awesome. Maybe you're married, so you got two streams of income coming in. If your husband or wife is working, that's awesome. Maybe your kids are working and bringing in money into the household, and you got other streams of income there. But if you're listening to me for any length of time, I'm not talking about having your family all go get jobs, spend their time away from you guys, from each other, and bring in all those streams of income. I know people have multiple jobs, 2 and 3 part-time jobs. I mean, golly, Lord bless them for that. I would not want to do that. I can't imagine that. And so I know some of you probably have done that in the past to make ends meet. And I know you don't want to do that anymore. That's just, it's not, you're going to run yourself ragged trying to do that. And yes, that is multiple streams of income, but I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about having 10 different businesses that don't make any sense to each other. You definitely could. Like, I have an Amazon business. I could then go out and have a hot dog cart on the weekends, or go out and, start another furniture store if I wanted to. I have no desire to do that. Would that be multiple streams of income? Yes, it would, but that would just be insane. Doesn't fit into what I'm looking to do. I want you to think about, what do you want your life to look like? What do you want your day to look like? Find a business, find opportunities that fit into that. If they don't fit, don't do them. I know that maybe for a season you are doing some things that you don't really enjoy to get to where you can do what I just said, where the business kind of fits into your life versus your life fits into your business. If you've quit your job, man, congratulations. Now, you might have a business now that instead of you were working 40 hours at a job, now you're working 60 hours in your business, but you're working on something. You're working on something that getting you to a higher level. And I want to talk to you about that as well, because there are ways in your e-commerce business to create multiple streams of income. And you probably already have seen it, because you know people that have been on this show that have talked about how they're doing that, how they're outsourcing to where they don't have to think about every little thing in their business. It allows them to shift some mental energy to some of those other things that they're interested in doing. So let's go into what it might look like for multiple streams of income in, let's say, your e-commerce business. Okay, so I know a lot of you are selling on Amazon like me. And so you've got your replenishables. And even within that, this is just like, think about diversifying. You've got your certain brand of products, and then you got other brands of products. And maybe you're selling 25 different brands. And maybe even within those brands, you've got 5 products each. So you got lots and lots of SKUs. That's very diversified. That's awesome. Now, some of you are diversifying even further. You're selling on things like Walmart. Walmart now accepts third-party sellers. You're selling on eBay. That's a whole other stream of income. You can sell some of the same stuff on all these platforms. You can sell some things on eBay, like from garage sales. That's another stream of income. So you can definitely diversify and create multiple streams of income within just that one space of selling online. And so then some of you have gone even further, like, for example, what I've done in my business, or what Jimmy Smith has done in his business. He's taken that knowledge of how to sell online and created a whole other stream of income from coaching, from writing books, from having courses, from having a membership community. So you can take your knowledge of what you just created, what you just built, and turn that into other streams of income. So, for example, look at what I've done in my business. Started selling furniture on Craigslist, then went to Amazon and eBay, then started writing. I wrote a book about wholesale, so got a stream of income with my knowledge about wholesale sourcing. I did a book about, actually 2 books on wholesale. And then I did a book on private label. Took my knowledge of building a private label brand and turned that into a book. We turned that book into a mentorship program. It's no longer doing that anymore, but had that mentorship program for a few years, where we're earning income from the knowledge of how to create a private label brand the easy way. Then I met a guy who was telling me about how he was sourcing products in a unique way that I had not heard of. And so I said, hey, my audience, and I had built an audience by that time because I'd written the book Real Wholesale Sources, wrote the book Beyond Arbitrage, and the Private Label the Easy Way. So I had a little bit of an audience, 3,000 or 4,000 at the time. And we did a webinar in December of 2016 called RA the Easy Way, Retail Arbitrage the Easy Way. And we had a ton of people in that webinar. We actually charged for that webinar. It's a long time since I've charged for a webinar, but we charged, I think, $27 for that webinar. And then at the end, we asked who would be interested in a group to go further on this. And that's when the Legends group was born. And so in December of 2016, we started the Amazon Legends group, now called Business Building Legends Group, because I want people to think higher. I want people to think off Amazon. And we've done that for almost 6 years. Unbelievable. Time flies. But that's a whole other stream of income based on our knowledge of selling physical products online. Now, if you know anything about me, and you probably have the exact same thing, all these opportunities, all these ideas are coming your way. You may actually get a little bit bored about something you're doing over here. I know I don't meet very many Amazon sellers that are like, I love selling on Amazon. I want to do this forever. There are some that just really, really enjoy it. But I know some of you are using your Amazon business as a means to an end. It's an opportunity to quit your job, to increase your income, to provide some leverage, some freedom, some margin in your life, to be able to do some other things. And my goodness, it's awesome because, so I'll say this many, many, many times, and I have said it, that I don't really know that there's an opportunity for somebody who wants to start a business that is as easy. It's not, it's hard work. It's definitely work starting an Amazon business, but anybody with any skill set can do it. We can teach you if you have no money and you've never done this before. We have so many success stories now of folks that have started a physical product business using our courses and information. And so I believe in it. I know it's awesome. I know it works. I've seen it work in my life. Been able to not have a real job since 2008 because of selling physical products, and now because of going into the information side of things. That I will always talk about this opportunity because there's so much opportunity, and it's still live and viable for you. I get emails all the time from folks that said that is Amazon dead? Is the opportunity over? My goodness, no. There's just a small snippet of people that are even shopping online. So just the opportunity is endless. So I'm always going to be talking about physical products because that's how I got started. And I feel like it's one of the easiest, lowest hanging fruit opportunities to start a business. But I know a lot of folks do it and they're like, you know what, this is, it works for a while, but they want to move up. They want to do other things. There's other things on their heart. And so how do you do that? Well, you start by outsourcing. You take the business that you have and bring other people in. You bring in somebody to do your prep. You bring in somebody to do your shopping. That frees you up to be able to focus on those other things that are on your heart, to maybe take that knowledge that you have and turn it into a membership program, a book, a course. By the way, side note, if you are listening and you have a desire to take your e-commerce knowledge and turn it into something paid, come talk to me. Because just for example, at the Proven Conference a few weeks ago, I sat down and talked to at least 2 different folks that had a desire to take their e-commerce knowledge, how they built their Amazon business, and help people with it. One was a single mom. Another guy was a veteran. He has a desire to take that knowledge and bless veterans with it. And they're just, they don't know exactly where to start. I will come alongside you and help you, especially if there's a way for us to work together and make it part of the Legends group and feed to the Legends group. I'll help you build that Facebook group. I'll help you figure out how to grow that group. And you can simply monetize it by just forwarding those people that you nurture into a group like Legends and into coaching. And so I will help you do that and create that stream of income. You don't have to create the course yourself. You don't have to do a podcast necessarily. You don't have to do any of that. You just share your story and help people in your group and send them to Legends, and you'll get a hefty commission. And I'm happy to chat with you about that. If that resonates with you, let me know. I'm happy to do that. And so then you take that knowledge and you start to help people with books, courses. It could be a membership community, but there's so many ways to do this. So you outsource your physical product stuff and then start teaching it. Okay, but maybe that's not what's in your heart. Maybe you have something else that you want to do. Maybe the Lord's laid on your heart, some other type of way to make money online, or other informational type product. Maybe you've gone through something in your life where you are, people ask you questions. How'd you do that? How'd you overcome your smoking addiction? Or how'd you lose that much weight, or just whatever it is. That is valuable knowledge that you could turn into a business. You could start with a book. You could create a course. You can go into coaching. You can do done for you services. You can do live events. You can do masterminds. But it kind of starts small. It grows like a tree. You go to a tree farm and you can see these little tiny trees, or you go to where they sell Christmas trees, and you go in, in the spring, they're small, but by the time Christmas comes, they're big. They start small, and you just grow it. And so now I'm looking at my business and I see, praise God for this. I see that I have I have an Amazon business. So I'm selling physical products. I've got a membership community called Legends, where I'm teaching people how to make money online. But what's really cool about this, guys, is now I don't even have to focus all my attention there even. I've got an awesome team of people. Larry Sue Pruitt, Honey Woods, Jimmy Smith, Leanna Croco, Michelle Henderson, and I can go on, Tasha and Aaron Pertolsky, that help me in that group, that make that group go. And they are the ones that are just come alongside me in making that group happen. So I can even take part of my brain, shift it away from focusing there and focusing on some other things that God's laid on my heart. So some of the business, some of the ministry stuff, business/ministry stuff that I'm working on, the virtual assistant service that we have, I'm able to focus on, helping businesses with their social media through our VA service. We've got a couple of pastors that we're helping with their VA service. We're starting a podcast network for Christians, for pastors, missionaries, evangelists, helping them grow their podcast or start their podcast. These things really excite me, but I wouldn't have been able to do them if I was so immersed in this other part of my business. So you you get your business growing to a way to where you start it and then you outsource it. And then you can take a lot more mental energy to focus on that next tree. If you imagine these as trees, your e-commerce business, you build it up, you're doing it all yourself, you're pruning it yourself, you're harvesting it yourself. Then you can get some people, some shoppers, some preppers to kind of focus on that tree. Not that you ignore that tree, it's there. But like, for example, my friends, Gay and Gary, and then also I just talked to a guy last week, Chris, who they have an Amazon business, but it's very, very much outsourced. They're doing online arbitrage. They have a VA that finds products for them, or several VAs that finds products for them. They have VAs that buy the products for them and ship it to the prep center. So their Amazon business is very, very much hands off. So it focuses, that Amazon tree is one that they know it's there. They see it. They go work on it a little bit, but for the most part, it's completely outsourced, which enables them to focus on other trees, other businesses that they have. For me, focus on your family, whatever that is, whatever you want to be, whatever you want your life to look like. I encourage you, get to a point where you're building your business around that and not the other way around. So you've got this tree of e-commerce going. You're selling on Amazon, eBay, Walmart. Then maybe you want to go into teaching, coaching. You want to take that knowledge and help people. That can become so much. But what else is on your heart? What are those other things? So let me just tell you about kind of my journey. Started selling on Craigslist with furniture, so physical products. Then I've added information. Then as I've grown, I've seen the need in our Legends group. We started a VA service, a whole other tree. The VA service started out just for e-commerce sellers. But then I saw needs. People came to me and said, hey, I don't sell on Amazon, but I need a VA for this, which a lot of times it's social media, podcast editing, video editing. Get a lot of people that want help with internet research, data entry, internet research and data entry. So we created a VA service for that called Wingman VAs. And so now we have a whole other tree called Wingman VAs, where we're helping non-Amazon sellers build their businesses and get things off their plate, get their time back so they can really do what God's called them to do. So for example, got 2 pastors right now that we're working with, and we're onboarding some more. As you know, if you're a pastor, you are working, you're doing way too many things. You're preaching on Sunday, but if you have a smaller church and you don't have a very big staff, or maybe you don't have a staff at all, you are doing it all. You're doing everything in your church. And, pastors are burnt out, especially pastors of smaller churches that just don't have the support. So it's our heart to create a pastor VA service. We've already created it to take those things off of pastors' plate that they do not need to be doing, should not be doing, and allow them to dream again and think about, what do I really want to do? And I'll tell you really quick, one thing that really blessed me. So Peter Migner, a friend of mine who's a pastor in Florida, he said, he's our first pastor that signed on with us on this. He said this has allowed him to get out from behind his desk and go out and serve people, minister to people, pray with people, love on people. When he said that, it's like just something leaped inside of me. It's like, that's why we're doing this. We're allowing him to get his time back to do what he really feels called to do as a pastor, what he wants to do as a pastor. And so these are some of the things I'm really, really excited about now. And all these other trees they're still going in my business, but I have people that can tend to them. I have got a team now. And so I've got that, the Business Building Legends group. Then we saw a need for eBay. We started a treasure hunting profits group. Again, that's a whole other tree that is growing that I don't really have to spend a lot of time thinking about, because Greg Perry, my buddy there, completely, tends to that tree. It's his knowledge anyway. He's got the content. I just come alongside him and help him with the back end of it. And Jeff Clark has joined us there. Then we got a Walmart selling tree where we're teaching people how to sell on Walmart. Again, Ryan Robinson, who's been on this podcast with me, runs that completely for me. And we've got a VA service for Walmart now. We're testing out. We've been doing it for a month. It's going really well. So all these things just come about as you hear the people's needs. You could start new branches of these trees or start completely new trees. So now I feel like, we talk about a lot about replenishable items on this podcast, replenishable things selling on Amazon, replenishable products, things that sell over and over again. So in my business, I've got that, but I've got membership groups that are now replenishable items. These are, about 3 of them that we are recurring revenue every single month that are now my replens, my membership groups are my replens. And then I'm thinking about, things like, passive income, investing in different things like, real estate and cryptocurrency. And so my goal is to where, I want to be like what the wealthy does, where the wealthy invest in assets and live off the dividends. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there. And I want to be at a place where, my business is growing and it's doing what it does. And I'm able to invest that income instead of doing what most people do. You live from hand to mouth. You create something, your job, provides a paycheck, and you eat that. You spend it on your house, your car, your food, the money goes. But I want to invest. I want to take that income from my business, invest it in something that spits out passive income for me, that spits out dividends for me, that allows me to live off of that. That's awesome. That is true freedom. Heard Grant Cardone talk about how the CEO of Coca-Cola makes, I think, $50 million a year. But he said Warren Buffett makes 500, I think he said 500 million on Coke a year. And that's just from the dividends of the stock that he owns in Coke. What does the CEO do in the business? They run it. They're in it. They're going to work every day. And a lot of that 50 million is eaten up in taxes, because that's earned income. With Warren Buffett, that income he earned from the dividends is taxed at a much lower rate. And so that's where I want to be. Not there yet. That's where I want to be. I want to be at a place to where the passive income is fueling my lifestyle. And then I can think about, buying businesses. I want to buy and sell off businesses. So hope this resonates with some of you. I believe that we're supposed to go from, level to level. Always start here, but then go higher, think higher, get around people that encourage you, get around people that are going where you want to go. Find somebody that is where you want to be. Get around them, ask them questions, buy them coffee, talk to them, say, how did you do what you do? But it's possible for every single one of you. So think, if you are listening to this and you're taping boxes right now in your Amazon business, or you're out shopping, good for you for doing that. But think about, do you want to be doing that exact same task in a couple of years or in the next year? What do you really want to do? don't completely abandon that tree, but get the systems, get the processes in place, get the outsourcing in place, get the people in place. Usually it's a person that will take, that will allow you to then free up some brain space, free up some time to be thinking about what's that next tree. And then you build that up. You get, systems and processes in place to where that's not even something so you don't have to think about that so much anymore. So now you got 2 trees that are producing for you, but you're not having to think about it so much. And you start another tree. It allows you to take that mental focus and your time and energy, focus on that next one, build that up, just do it over and over and over again. So hope that helps you. Let me know if you have any questions. Seriously, if you have a desire to turn some knowledge that you have into income, let me know. I've done it multiple times with people, helping them do that. Talk you through what that looks like. Just feel free to email me, ryan@ryanrieger.com, especially if it's in the e-commerce space. A lot of you listening are e-commerce experts. You are an expert, and you want to help somebody, but you might think, well, it's already been done. Ryan's already got that course. He's already done it. Jim Cockrum's already done it. Yeah, we have, but people need your voice. People need to hear it from your mouth. And so I want to encourage you in that. If you're thinking that direction, you're thinking about anything, a product or service related to what you're doing, do it. Go test it out. But let me know if you have any questions. Love you guys. Hope this has been a blessing, and we'll see you next week.
You've been listening to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. From right here in the Dallas Metroplex, Ryan teaches several entrepreneurial courses and group coaching programs to students all over the world. Be sure to listen next week at the same time for Streams of Income with Ryan Rieger.